Okay, we'll call to order the Mandan Park District Board meeting. Today is June 9th, 2025. Any additions or deletions to the agenda?
None.
None? Okay. Moving on to public communication from visitors. I think we just have Mindy here at this point. We're not quite yet, Mindy, but unless you want to make some public comments about any other items on the agenda, okay? Seeing no other people present, we'll close that portion of the meeting. Item number one, minutes. Approval of May 12th, 2025 regular meeting minutes. It's going to be you two tonight.
Yeah, we're doing double duty. I'll make the motion to approve the May 12th, 2025 regular meeting minutes.
Motion by Commissioner Scott.
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Mutter. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Okay. Item number one. Now, Mindy, come on up. Presentation of our 2024 audit. Mindy from Brady Marks. Hi, Mindy.
Good evening. Can you hear me okay? Okay. Good evening. I'm Mindy Piatz, a shareholder with Brady Marts, and I'll be going over the audit results for the fiscal year 2024 of the Park District with you tonight. We'll go over the reports and opinions that we're issuing, some high-level financial highlights, and then end with some items that we're required to communicate with the board upon completion of the audit. So first off, the overall objective of the audit, we do follow a few standards as part of conducting the audit. The audit, I would note, is it's designed to obtain reasonable assurance over the financials, but not absolute assurance that the financials are in accordance with GAAP and free of material misstatement. Overall, in the financial statements, we expressed an unmodified opinion, which is the highest level of assurance that we can provide on the financials, meaning the financials are fairly stated in accordance with GAAP or generally accepted accounting principles. We also issue another report for performing the audit in accordance with government auditing standards. This is a report on internal control and compliance. It's an unmodified opinion, again, which is the highest level we can provide. However, we did have 3 findings noted. Those include findings for the auditors preparing the financial statements, material journal entries being proposed, and then just the segregation of duties within the accounting department, not having enough people to split up all the duties. I would also note that all these findings are repeat findings from last year, and they're detailed out in the back of the audited financial statements if you want to see more details on those. Moving on to some financial highlights. So the first one is total cash, and this is actually cash and investments for the Park District, looking at 2024 in blue versus last year, 2023 in green. Overall, you'll see that the general fund has increased this last year. This is mostly just due to an increase in overall operations. And sorry, just losing my thought. Increase due to increase in operations. There was some debt paid off last year, so about $500,000 of less money was paid out this current fiscal year for debt, and so that was really the large change in the general fund. And then in the construction fund, last year there was some debt issued in that fund, and so this year that money was spent on projects. Next, looking at revenues and expenses by fund, I would note this doesn't include other financing sources or non-operating income. It's really just the income that fund is generating and the related expenses. So for the general fund, again, revenues are higher than the expenses. Revenues are in blue, expenses are in green. Again, the expenses were less just due to less bond payments or debt payments this last fiscal year. With the construction fund, again, expenses were higher because all that cash came in last year from the debt, and so spending that on projects this year. And then for all the other funds and Raging Rivers, again, revenues and expenses were very comparable for each fund year over year for this last fiscal year. Next, looking at fund balance composition by fund. So the first one is the general fund. Starting at the bottom is the non-spendable amount. So that's just that light blue color is just some money that has been spent for prepaid items. So you don't really necessarily have that cash to spend. The next is green is unassigned. So unassigned balance was about 2.8 million, and that's available to spend for however the park district wants to spend. Currently, that represents about 5 months operating expenses. So in the event of something major happening, the park district should be able to continue going for about 5 to 6 months. And then the orange balance is assigned. That's around 1.3 million. That represents the vision fund. So from a financial reporting perspective, the vision fund doesn't meet the definition to be on its own and be separately reported, and it gets included with the general fund. So that money is to be spent for the purpose of what the board has passed a motion for the purpose of that fund. It would take another board motion to change the purpose of how that money would be spent. And then that last category, the restricted, the dark blue, that's just money that's been restricted for a specific purpose. That money's available to spend, but you have to spend it within the purpose it was given. And for the construction and then the other governmental funds, again, all that money is restricted and has specific uses for how it can be spent. Next, just looking at the debt that the park district has, the balances as of December 34th or December 31st, 2024 are noted on the left. And then the future payments, this would include principal and interest payments for the next 5 years. And then it's in 5-year increments after that, because that follows the financial statement presentation. But you can see there's quite a big chunk in 2025, and then it drops off. And then it picks up again in 2029 and going forward. Next, looking at the general fund budget versus actual. So budgeted is in blue, actual is in green. You'll see that for revenues came in over budget by about 1.7 million, and then expenditures were just slightly under budget by about 99,000 for the fiscal year. This budget information does not include the vision fund. It is just specifically the general fund. I would note that too. Lastly, just going over some items that we are required to communicate with the board upon completion of the audit. Just letting you know that there were no sensitive estimates to the financials. If there were, we would be doing detailed testing, looking at management assumptions going into those estimates. During our audit, we didn't become aware of any kind of unusual transactions. We also didn't have any difficulties or disagreements with management. We did have some uncorrected misstatements. So these are items that we came across that are differences, but the adjustments were not posted and reflected in the financials. And oftentimes they're not, just because they might be projected differences or they're not material to the financials, but we track those cumulatively to make sure that when taken together, they don't materially misstate the financials, and they did not. And then the last item, as part of wrapping up the audit process, we do ask management to sign a representation letter, basically just stating that they've given us full access to all the information and everything's been recorded in accordance with GAAP to their ability, and that everything's properly stated. On the screen is my contact information, so if anybody watching or if any other additional board members have follow-up questions, feel free to reach out to me. And with that, I just want to thank the Park District staff. The audit is a whirlwind, but they do a great job getting us all the information and responding to our requests, so we certainly appreciate their time.
Thank you, Mindy. Any questions for Mindy or Cole or Terry on the audit?
I got one little question, and probably because saying we have enough money for 5 to 6 months. Where should a normal park district should be at, as far as reserve or anything like that?
Yeah, so commissioners and president, the GFOA, GFOA is the Government Finance Officers Association. They have a recommended balance, and I think it's 1 to 2 months, which is very low in my head, given things that have happened in the past decades, such as COVID. So I think that's something that you have to continue monitoring. I think 5 months is more than adequate. But again, it's when that number starts getting higher and approaching a year, you need to build that into your budget as far as how much you're requesting for tax dollars and other resources of funding coming. But I would think 5 months is more than adequate.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mindy, I just wanted to say thank you for working with our staff and getting this out to us. I know Terry's very organized, so I can't imagine there'd be any issues with the management of the funds or anything like that, but it's always good to have you as a resource, so thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Thank you, Mindy. Cole and Terry, kind of what Commissioner Scott said, it's always, we don't go in there with, we met earlier today, there's no surprises or anything like that, and it's always, financially, we're in a good spot. Seems like we're in a good spot. We're able to do that without raising mills, and we have not done that in quite a few years, and they do what they need to do, and they do it right. I think I know we probably got a correction maybe that we're supposed to look at, but I think we're able to do more with less because of the efficiencies of the offices that we have up there. So thank you. So thanks, Mindy. Moving on to item number 2, consider for approval. Do we have to vote on that audit? Do we have to accept that audit?
I think just for formality, I think it would say yes.
Okay. So if we can get a motion to accept the audit as presented from Brady Martz.
I would make the motion to accept the audit presentation by Brady Martz for the 2024 audit.
Okay, Commissioner Scott with the first.
I'll second that.
Second by Commissioner Mutter. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to item number 2, consider for approval to pay off Aquatic Center dehumidifier debt 1 year earlier.
President Meski and Commissioners, this is really just a quick formality. We have the funds available, as you see in our audit. It allows us to pay it off a year earlier. It made our budgeting process a lot easier, too, for 26 by eliminating this. So we're just asking for your approval to pay this off.
And this is our 50% that we're paying off, correct?
If you
And
see back in the
they
2000
carried the debt?
Correct. The school district got
carried
I
the
think, a
debt.
1% loan.
Okay.
They did this, we're 1.5.
Yep. Questions or board's wishes?
So the interest, so we'll save money on interest.
Very, very minimal, yeah.
I'll recommend approve to pay off the remaining balance of $23,843 in dehumidifier at the Mandan Aquatic Center.
Motion by Commissioner Mutter,
Second.
second by Commissioner Scott. Any further discussion? All right, roll call vote. Commissioner Scott?
Aye.
Commissioner Mutter?
Aye.
Yes from me as well. Motion carries. Item number 3, consider for approval out-of-state travel to NRPA conference.
President Meski and Commissioners, our bylaws and our policy state any out-of-state travel requires board approval. Each year we've sent individuals to the NRPA. This year we're requesting approval to send Commissioner Mutter, Commissioner Freilich, and Dustin Fleck, our park operations, to attend the NRPA conference in Orlando this year. So you can see the fiscal impact kind of itemizing. Again, some of it's estimates based on hotels and airfare in case they change between now and then. But my recommendation, we have $10,000 budgeted to attend for this NRPA, so there's definitely enough funds to cover the costs.
I would make the motion to approve out-of-state travel for the NRPA conference.
Motion by Commissioner Scott,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Mutter. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Commissioner Mutter?
Aye.
Commissioner Scott?
Aye.
Aye for me as well. Motion carries. Item number 4, update on ADA improvements at the sports complex.
So I want to give a quick update of what we completed. As you know, all the minor things as far as the handrails, the mirrors, those were done right away, dropping them 1 inch or 2 inch. The concrete sidewalk was poured last week, and that's inside the fence that leads and helps you people with ADA disabilities to attend the east side. And the reason why that sidewalk had to be put in is when we designed the complex, there were no bleachers on the east side. When the school district bought the bleachers to the east side, the actual sidewalk and apron was 7%. Well, when you put the bleachers on the east side, now that 7% grade needs to be at 2. So that was the violation. By bringing in the bleachers, it now changes the slope for the sidewalk. So that slope was poured. We already have everything lined up for the end of July for the benches where you sit to be compliant with patron seats for the ADA. We were 3 inches off, which I think is a contractor installation where they might have been a little bit off on their installation. We have that scheduled for the end of July, as I mentioned. We are trying to get quotes for the east side to address that retrofitting. It's not coming back very promising due to the age of those bleachers because they were pretty old at Ferris Field. So we are going to get a quote to see what it would cost to replace the entire section of bleachers and a quote to retrofit. But we're not getting anywhere with the retrofitting very well. We have until August of 26 to address, but we'd like to get everything at least somewhat on a schedule and ordered and parts delivered, so we're not waiting on something to kind of go with. The big discussion, though, is obviously the Cadillac rink.
Cole, before you go on to that, so that side will be unusable if we don't get things done by fall football season. Is that or do we
No.
we have the timeline to get that? We have a longer timeline to get that done.
Everything's
by
under the same timeline, but August of 26.
August of
They'll
26.
be able to
Okay.
use those
Okay.
for this year, but we'd like to have it done if possible.
Right. Okay.
That's
All
why
right,
we're trying to
thank
get on
you.
that. So the big discussion comes back to the Cadillac rink. And as you know, the Cadillac rink, we had 4 ADA spots in the center of the rink where we have that glazed glass. And then we also had the window on the north or south end, that you can view from outside the rink into there. That gave us 5 additional spots for a total of 9. Well, the interpretation of code between what JLG says and what Department of Justice is saying for ADA code don't align. And I've tried to read through it. That's why we pay architects to design these things. We were into it about $1.4 million into JLG. We've had great discussions. Tom Beam with JLG has been very helpful. We've had multiple Zoom calls. Commissioner Melhoff's been on 2 of them. JLG did redesign the 2 items, the bleachers and the Cadillac rink, as far as the work that's taking place today. They did that at no cost. What's coming together now is originally we weren't too concerned about the violations because they were seen very minor. Well, as you start digging into things and cutting and pasting, it becomes $35,000 is the cost for the Cadillac rink. So it's my recommendation that we couldn't come to any type of mitigation with JLG. We tried, we offered, we wanted to meet in person, didn't get much direction from their administration. Tom and the guys that I worked with were kind of the go-between. He basically said it's out of his hands and that we got to decide what's best for our best interest. We did offer some type of verbal communication in regards to maybe a 50-50, because as we know, if we start litigation, you're going to be into it $5 to $10 grand in attorney fees, 35 grand down to 25. So end of the day, I tried calling again today. I asked Tom if there's any changes that have happened since we spoke, and he's like, nope, it's above me, and you guys got to do what you guys need to do. So I'm recommending today that we direct Attorney Ruff to start litigation with JLG in regards to these ADA violations of their design.
Cole, I want to clarify one of your statements because I think it came out the way you meant, but not what you said. I heard you say that we offered in our discussions to pay half. That is not true. That is not. It was their offer to pay for half of these expenses.
Yeah,
correct?
we had a verbal discussion that they were potentially willing to pay half. And then I presented that to Commissioner Melhoff and President Meschke, and we just said, no, that wasn't adequate. The other concern was having to sign off to say on any future liabilities associated with ADA. We're not going to sign off on a $22 million building for 35 grand. So I think the next step, though, is to get Attorney Ruff involved. I did speak with him. As you know, he's not here today. He was in Wisconsin with his son. Let him get the ball rolling with the first steps. Hopefully they can mitigate amongst themselves with a little more seriousness and see what comes from there. And then if we need to have a special meeting at some point between now and then, we can definitely go.
So one of the things, since I've been on the board, Cole does a very good job with these projects, making sure we have the right people in place, JLG, certain contractors, making sure that we try not to get in these situations on the bigger projects. Obviously, we're in a situation right now, and I know JLG does disagree with the Department of Justice. But we've worked with JLG. I don't want to ruin a relationship with them. We've worked with them very well. But it seems to me that this is what they were hired to keep us out of. Now, we understand the other items. Those were not done with architect or general contractor. We just thought we were doing what was best for I guess, our fans at that facility. And when I look at it, and Cole sent me the agreement a few weeks ago, and I know Attorney Ruff and you have gone through that as well, and we believe that that this was their responsibility to make sure that we met that code. So, I mean, financially, could we write a check for that amount? We sure could, or even half it probably. But it's when we pay for services like this, I guess everybody makes mistakes. And whether you want to own up to them or not, I guess that's up to them. But I guess for me, I think that the rest of the items, yes, we did those things in the best interest what we thought of our fans, but found out we were not in code in some places. So, but we hired somebody to make sure that this was being done correctly.
Did I hear, Cole, did I hear you right? That you said they would be willing to pay 50%, but then they sign off on any extended things that could happen?
Verbally, we had a conversation about potentially he could sell back to his administration at JLG maybe a 50%, and then they would want some kind of clause for us to sign off on. I said I wasn't interested in signing a clause for that amount. You're not going to sign off on future liabilities on a $22 million building over 17 grand.
Okay, thank you.
Wade, I couldn't agree more with your comments, and I couldn't agree more than what Cole said about the signing off long-term on something over $35,000. That just seems ridiculous to me, but I think maybe they were just trying to feel us out for what we were really asking for, but yeah, that just doesn't seem right.
And we tried to go about it the right way. We asked to meet in person back in April. Couldn't get a meeting with them to come out and visit, see the site, see the issues. All the architects that we had worked with on the design and the construction is no longer employed there. It's 10 years, so they're no longer employed. And then the people we're working with, and they've been really good. I can't say that JLG hasn't been good to work with in regards to the redesigning. They did that at no cost. They were very accessible. It's just when it got to the point now where we're asking for some compensation, the communication's been very little.
Oh, on the, I'm reading your thing again. I've read it 3 times. Are you expecting Attorney Ruff is going to cost us between $5,000 and $10,000? I mean, are we going to get into the $35,000 range?
I can't tell you what that number is going to be as far as how long it's going to take, but I just wanted to bring to your attention that when you hire an attorney, there are going to be costs associated with it, and depends how long it gets drug out or whatever. At the end of the day, you got to net that off of what you settle for. So we didn't want to go down this road.
No.
We wanted to settle beforehand and just say, let's come up with a fair assessment, because we ate all the other expenses.
And would it be fair, I guess, to say that if we do go that direction with mitigation / litigation with Attorney Ruff, that we would also look to be reimbursed for our attorney fees as well? Okay.
And then the work that's going to be done, it's not going to interfere with the usage of anything right now, right?
The work has already started. We're just waiting on the glazing, the window glass. That's the only thing that's left to get delivered, but everything's been completed in there. So they were in there, I would say, end of May, early June.
Okay.
You know, I guess I can't speak for either other of the commissioners that aren't here, but I know Commissioner Melhoff has been pretty involved in this, being it's his portfolio, and I would think that he knows that this is something that probably a direction we should go. He's not here to vote, obviously. I can't speak for him, but and Commissioner Freilich, I don't know where she stands on this, but obviously it's just us 3 making that decision tonight.
I just wanted to add one more comment that I think is important. So some of the comments we were getting from JLG was that we should go after Department of Justice, to argue the fact of the design. That ain't our job. You guys, we paid you $1.4 million to design us a building. If there's any type of discrepancy of how you read the ADA bylaws or policies, you go take that matter up with them. Well, we all know you're not going to win when you're going against the federal government. So that's a moot point is how I feel. But that discussion was had is like, You settle with us. Go take that fight on yourself if that's what you choose you want to do.
And I'm by no means an architect, but you would think that it would be in their best interest to know that they are in line with what Department of Justice's guidelines and rules are, so this doesn't happen to anybody again.
I'm going to make a motion if that's okay with you guys. I recommend that we direct Attorney Ruff to initiate litigation against JLG Architecture Firm for design violations association with the Starion Complex.
Motion by Commissioner Mutter,
Second.
second by Commissioner Scott. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Mutter,
Aye.
Commissioner Scott,
Aye.
aye from me as well. Motion carries. All right. Moving into item number 5, authorization to pay our monthly bills. Can we get a motion to do so?
I would make the motion to approve or authorize the payment of monthly bills.
Motion by Commissioner Scott,
Second.
second by Commissioner Mutter. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Commissioner staff reports. Anything else to report, Cole?
Yep, just a few things. So at the boat ramp, we have the fish cleaning station will be going in hopefully by July, maybe early part of August. Right now, today, the State Water Commission is doing the drilling for an observation well. They have about, I can't remember the number, but 50 some observation wells throughout the Bismarck Mandan just to kind of monitor the water levels of the Missouri River from basically the 2011 flood. So part of the discussion with the State Water Commission is that they would drill our well to feed the fish cleaning station if they could put an observation well in. Absolutely. So we got that started today. And then from there, we're working with Game and Fish to get the delivery and the setup. We got the specifications. We have right around $25,000 left of the grant, so we have to spend $50 to get $25, which is going to be very close for us to meet that, total cost to put in the fish cleaning station, because we still have to put a vault, we have to put a drain field, and then obviously run the power and the plumbing as far as a pump and connecting the water to it. So at least we'll have a nice fish cleaning station there. And then we are going to relocate the vault toilet. That's supposed to be scheduled to be delivered after the 4th of July. We wish it would have been here sooner, but unfortunately it's not. But we're going to put that by the fish cleaning station in that northwest corner. And that'll allow us to have the water there too, to be able to do any cleaning and things of that nature instead of having a truck back and forth. So it just made a lot more sense on that. The youth
So when
baseball.
you say relocate, you mean we're not moving it from somewhere else. You're saying
Physically not,
okay. We haven't put it someplace and decided we don't like it there. We're just gonna, on our plans, have
We
moved
had
it
on the
there.
plans to put it right by the bridge.
Yeah.
And then that's where we had it surveyed to designate it. But yeah, we're going to relocate the site.
Okay.
Okay, youth baseball complex. We've signed off on that. That project is complete. All the bills are in there to this month, so we should have that thing wrapped up. Old Red Trail Phase 1, which is from Sunset West out past Pepsi. That mill overlay has happened. We got about half of it done right now. And then they will carry their way down to the intersection of Old Red Trail and Sunset. But just to bring to your attention, next year they're doing the Sunset interchange construction, and they're going to tear out portions of our trail that we're putting in. So we asked, why should we spend the dollars on that? Let's back it off, stop where the construction area would be. It doesn't work that way. I guess you got to put it back based on the grant, and then they got to come in and tear it out again and then put it back. So just so you're aware, there will be a section around the interchange that'll be impacted.
Yeah, you had mentioned that I think a couple meetings ago, trying to figure that out so we're not throwing away money, I guess would be a better way of saying it. But,
Correct.
okay.
And then the last is just community engagement position that we had approved, I think 2 months ago. We had asked the board for creating this new position. She has started, and we will bring them to a meeting at some point in the future. And I'll let you share your new employee.
And I've replaced the accountant position with a new employee. Lori Fries has started, but the person she's replacing is still with us for a few more weeks. So that's been incredibly helpful to have her getting trained in from someone, as she starts. And Lori's doing an excellent job. We also have an accounting assistant, which is a first-year college student, helping us through the summer, keep up with the day-to-day stuff. And she's doing a great job as well. So I'm thankful for what's happening in the accounting department this summer.
Okay. Thank you, Terry. Cool. Commissioner Mutter, any further reports?
I've just got to, I'm going to talk about the track and field. Last year they had 188 participants. This year they're up to 232 participants. I know it says 225 in the notes, but it was 232. Of all the things that we do, the more people that we can serve, the happier I am. So seeing that, and I'm thinking about all the young coaches that are future leaders of this community also helps. So I want to thank Kelly and Casey and all their staff doing that. So that's what.
Commissioner Scott.
Golf sims full swing. The courses are in great shape. People are using them for sure, and our staff is amazing. I mean, just simply amazing how they keep those courses up in great shape, and inside the pro shop, the way the staff interacts with our clients, so to speak, our golfers, is amazing as well. So thanks to them.
Okay, before we adjourn, future meeting dates for Park Board Commissioners, June 17th, Golf 2026 Budget Portfolio Meeting, 12 p.m. at the Park Administrative Office. On June 19th, Facilities 2026 Budget Portfolio Meeting, 8:30 a.m. at the Park Administration Office. And then on June 25th, we have the 100-year Municipal Golf Ribbon Cutting Ceremony. That'll be held at Mandan Muni at noon. And then our next regular board meeting will be on July 14th, right here at City Hall at 5:30. With that, can we get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Motion by Commissioner Mutter,
Second.
second by Commissioner Scott. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Meeting adjourned.